Well, hello, everyone, and good morning. Um, Let me give me just a moment, if you will. I need to get some things set up. Um, didn't know that the killer was going to be making a court appearance this morning, and we are fixing to go over and watch that. Just give me a moment and let me get some things set up here real quick, and I will be um right back. Let's give you guys a little bit of music. Okay. And give me just a moment to get this set up, and I'll be right back with you guys. Okay, and I'm back. So, welcome everyone. Whoop, let me stop that music. So, welcome in everyone to Regina and Friends Crime Chat. I'm your host, Regina. We are covering the Devil's Den double homicides case out of Arkansas, Devil's Den State Park, just south of Fayetteville, Arkansas, near Springdale, etc. As you know, this case is very important to me because I have family that lives on that side of the state. Good morning, Connie. It's good to see you. And we're just kind of letting people filter in here. I have the screen pulled up. In Arkansas, apparently, they're going to stream uh him from they're going to stream his appearance in court today. Hold on a second, let me remove that. So many new assets, I'm just getting used to learning how to use them all, you guys. So let me take that off there we go. And then I'm going to share this, and while we're waiting, um for there we go. While we're waiting for him to make his court appearance, we're going to talk a little bit about the case. So, I don't know if you guys have been reading and hearing everything, but this past Saturday, a beautiful family, Clinton and Christy uh, Binks, took their daughters hiking at Devil's Den State Park here in Arkansas. Um, Something Arkansas is known for is its beautiful parks. We've got everything from waterfalls to caves. I mean, walking trails. You can hike the mountains. You can take your family fishing at a lake. This is just a way of life for us here in Arkansas. And Clinton and Christy were just taking their kids to do what so many of us have done here in Arkansas, to go hiking at Devil's Den Trail. And while this beautiful husband and wife, and their two young daughters, who were 7 and 9, were hiking along Devil's Den Trail. They came across a man. Here's the sketch that was released of him. Um, they come across a man who would tragically end their lives. Initial reports were saying that um, the father was initially attacked, and that the mother got her daughters to safety to the car, and then went back to try to help her husband, um, and ended up tragically losing her life as well. So, good morning, Wilby. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Good morning. I'll open up the panel here in just a minute, and let you come up. I just want to go over this stuff really quick. Um, so they encountered this man wearing all black with a backpack. People on the trail said he had bad vibes and stuff, and he took the life of Clinton and Christy Brinks, um, right in front of their 7 and 9 year old daughters. This man attacked, and so we started hearing reports. Let me stop sharing this real quick. Let me show you guys something. Um, I shared them on my YouTube channel. I shared them on my YouTube, so I'll share them with you guys through my YouTube. Let me go to my channel under my post. So as you can see here, here we go. Families of Andrew McGann started coming forward with concerns as soon as he was arrested. And these were some of the concerns that they were posting. Andrew McGann was Jack's fourth grade teacher when he was a student at Donald Elementary. Come to find out, absolutely, Andrew McGann was a teacher at Donald Elementary in Texas. Anyways, here's what it says. Andrew McGann was Jack's fourth grade teacher. He was a student, Jack's, at Donald Elementary. Him and several classmates noticed inappropriate behavior towards from him towards several little girls in the class. It was reported to the principal, Heather Shorter, at the time, and he was allowed to resign without any consequence, and even went on to continue teaching in another district. Finding out, he went on to kill a couple in front of their two little girls is horrifying, and the fact that there were warning signs and he was continually allowed around children is a travesty. So, why do I bring this up? Well, everyone's starting to think that he targeted the daughters, which would explain an altercation between him and the father, Clinton, taken up for his daughters, his very young 7 and 9 year old daughters. I could see an argument ensuing um, that led to this. Some people say, well, what did this guy have in his book bag? Right? This big floppy book bag that he's got over his shoulder and under his arm, across his chest, kind of diagonally. So I have a question. What was he going to put in the book bag? Why was it so empty? This is so scary. This is so scary. What did he go out there to intend to afflict upon everyone? Right? So we are still waiting for the court updates. But this man, he was arrested. Let's go back to my post. He was arrested from, I think it was what was it? The Lupia? The Lulia? Um, hairdressing shop in, check this out, Lowell. My brother-in-law lives in Lowell with his young kids and wife. So this is especially shocking that this man was literally right there in the same town as my family for starters. But the thing is this bloke, oh, y'all can't see. I keep forgetting. Sorry about that. This bloke decided, make it big. Okay. Can y'all see that? Decided he was going to go get himself a haircut like it was nothing after viciously slaying Christy and Clinton, who were just trying to protect their daughters. And these are photos because the poor girl, her name was Adriana Aveo, Aveolus, if I'm pronouncing that right. She posted on her Facebook, and I'm not going to dox her and put her information out there like that. I'm just going to tell you guys. She reported on her Facebook that the cops had come in and arrested a man while she was giving him a haircut. And even went on further to say, but he messed up though because I hadn't even started his fade. So she was in the middle of cutting his hair whenever um, he was arrested, just right out of the barber chair, just right out of getting a haircut. And she was like, I haven't even swept his hair up yet. Well, she wasn't even done with his haircut, come to find out. But um, arrested him right there, just straight out the chair, right? And there are other news sources and stuff that we can tune into and watch them arrest him out of the chair literally. And then we have footage of his vehicle being, taped off with red evidence tape and hauled off on a tow truck, a flatbed. So we're going to get into all that. Right now, I'm going to pull this up because court is already in session. Let me see here. Here we go. So we're going to leave this up and I'm going to open up my panel really quick. I got some really good people in here that I enjoy talking with and see what you guys think and get some conversation going about what's on your minds. So I'm posting the link right now. There we go. And if you'd like to come up, just grab that link and we can talk about this case in depth a little more. So, and there's a Wilby. Good morning, my friend. How are
Uh,
you?
Hello. How is the sound check? Good.
Yeah, you're great. You're
Okay.
great.
I'm good. I got a little rest this weekend. I haven't. I had to. I had a YouTube crash. I've been YouTubing so much I had to get some sleep. But I've kind of been reading up. When stuff has come out, and this guy was different. I guess. Whew.
Well, allegedly. Let me see if I bro. I want to, have this on the court screen for whenever he appears.
Yeah.
But Jax's mother actually did a TV interview, and she said that this guy. Now, Wilby, I hope you're sitting down for this.
Yeah.
You remember the creepy stuff that Stephen Stern said about he'd marry uh,
Uh.
Madeline Soto if she was a little
Yeah.
older? Those
A
kind
little
of
bit. Yeah. I couldn't even
okay.
hear it because it was just. That was just. Yeah. It was
This
ick.
creep, this creep was telling little girls in her son Jack's school, well, if you were a little older, I'd marry you. All the signs were there.
I mean, I don't even know how to respond to that. The right person, like a real older gentleman, maybe would get away with that occasion with the right girl. But a guy, I don't know. It's just hard to explain. Some people give you the creeps when they act like that around kids. uh, I don't know. It's just weird, real weird. It's kind
Anybody,
of weird how that county pushed him off without, which
like,
has happened with other.
will be like I can see it like a teenage girl with her feelings hurt, right? And maybe a caring individual would tell her, "Look, honey, you're going to grow up and make somebody a wonderful
Yeah,
wife someday.
exactly.
Don't worry about these kind of losers. You're beautiful." Giving her but
Yeah,
to
trying to
tell
build
a
her confidence
third
back.
grade but to tell a third grade little girl that if she was a little older, he would marry her.
Yeah, it's weird. It's real weird. But I don't know. I'm kind of well. I know there are men that teach children at that level, but
That aren't
you
predators.
could get me in a classroom with, and not that I wouldn't enjoy it if that's what I wanted to do, but you couldn't get me in a classroom with a bunch of females at that age, because I'm not going to be put in a position where anybody ever say anything, because
Right.
a lot of people get mad because they say things about people, and I just I wouldn't be put in that position. Are there very many male teachers for that age children?
Well, yeah, I had guy
I
teachers.
don't ever remember any growing up, but it was a different
I
time
had
as
guy
well.
teachers. I had guy teachers
We
growing
didn't.
up.
I don't think we
And
didn't have one I can think of. Let me think. Of course, now again, Regina, I'll be 64 in October. We lived in a different time.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I
yeah.
did. I can't remember one until about the seventh or eighth grade. That's the earliest I remember one. Seventh or eighth grade.
Yeah. So this guy allegedly was paying special attention, and we'll play the news report, like I said, after he appears in court.
He's just
That's
got
up
a
on
weird
the
look to
feed
him, and
right
I hate to
now.
say that because that's not based on anything. It's not evidence or a factual, but his look and his lack of any emotion in his eyes, it's
Well,
just a
he's already
blankness.
confessed.
He has already confessed. He what? He has
He
confessed.
already
Well,
told him he did it. Yeah, he did.
well,
They had
I
the
mean, did
after
do
they
you
found
think
out.
they'll are they looking into chances he did anything in Oklahoma before he moved here? I'm
Yes,
sure they are, but
yes, they are absolutely. That is one of
yeah,
the things that was specified by our attorney general. Is he was
yeah,
like, we are looking into him,
because
and comparing his DNA. Good
I
morning,
saw,
Trixie. Good
yeah,
morning. Thank you for being here, Trixie Creations.
uh,
Um, they are absolutely looking into other cases from Oklahoma and Texas now,
well,
as well
you
as
say I said
Arkansas.
Oklahoma where he's from, but a guy like him's young. He could easily on a weekend say, "Hey, I'm going to go meet some friends I went to college with, and I'm going to so and so's family's home." Nobody would question. He could just ride a couple, 2 or 3 hours in any direction and get
Right,
gone.
right.
So
I mean,
he could have had a bigger footprint than just Oklahoma if he did something. And we're not accusing him of anything. We'll find out later on.
oh no, no. Well, I'm
But
not
I
accusing
feel
him. I mean,
strongly
he
that
killed
he
two
did.
people.
Maybe he didn't go to the extent he went to here, but I feel strongly that he started out. He got some momentum and he altered his. He got his game plan better. And but you look at what he did. He was bold because I saw a picture of the dad and the mom where it was back away from him, and that dad was a stout little fella. He wasn't no weakling. He was a
Well, he
stock.
was a big guy. He was
That's what I'm
tall,
saying. I mean, he looked like if you
big.
grab hold of that guy, you know you had hold of somebody. So I'm sure that man fought and gave that guy a fight, and to be willing to attack somebody and go the full length out in the park, that's a lot of.
Ooh,
You're
scary,
out
ain't
there.
it, Wilby?
Well, I mean, he it is for me to think he'd say, "Well, out here I'm going. I'm just going to jump on him and put a whooping on him and do this and that or whatever." And
And we have to think like
and
this,
all the
right?
rage, and I wouldn't even think he'd be thinking at the time it happened. It would just be pure because he's probably done played it out in his head 100,000 times.
Right. But
But
Wilby, here's the thing. He planned on doing this. Like he
that's what I'm
planned on
saying. You have
doing
a kid and everything,
something.
but just to get to the point where you say, "All right, it's go time, fellas,"
Yep.
that's a big jump,
Yeah, it is.
and
Like
it's
he
a lot.
went I that's a big leap to take without him having something in his past. You see what I'm saying? That would
I agree
include
100%.
like just knowing that he has been, but this is the part that makes me mad, okay? And
Yeah,
let's be real about this. We owe our children who are forced into public education. Okay, you
Yeah,
are, as a child, you are demanded, right, to receive that education.
yeah,
And unless you're homeschooled, right, or go to K-12 or something
yeah,
like that, that's an online school, um, you're put in an environment with strangers, and they tell you to trust these
yeah,
strangers, right?
yeah.
Only to find out that this guy has been has been passed along like, an
Yeah,
unwanted
because they, other
leftovers.
teachers had reported for what they felt was inappropriate behavior, whatever that
Right.
was.
And he
Uh,
was immediately not just
yeah, it wasn't
not
even no
just
question. So whatever it
right,
wasn't like we needed, and he might not have meant something by that. No, they immediately let him go. So he did something highly inappropriate.
inappropriate, right.
Yeah,
And it was enough to get him fired from his job teaching where he was teaching at that time.
yeah,
Why was it not enough to put something in his file to protect other children
you
from
know,
this same behavior from him?
Regina, that happens all the time. You've seen it, or we have suspected it in law enforcement officers that it get passed on from department to department, department to department, county to city, and so on and so forth. It gets done a lot when you have uh, like public institutions, whether it be the justice system, the school system, or the health system, with even like the nurses. These big companies and these big institutions, they just don't want the hassle of putting that on somebody's employment jacket and having to fight it if somebody gets a lawyer and comes after them, because even if it's 100% legitimate, it's just a lot of cost to a big institution that they just try to avoid. But somebody ends up paying the price on this one,
Yeah,
unfortunately,
a
because
family did. A family did, just out there enjoying
yeah,
their day with their daughters. I mean, we'll be who in a million years would even think that doing something so simple that so many of us Arkansans do
uh,
throughout the summer, throughout the year, would result in us losing.
yeah, the day would have ended like it did for that family. Not in 100 years. That never entered nobody's mind. They were going to have the best time, go out there and make memories, take pictures, have a good picnic or whatever they did, and make it home and get ready to go to school here in a week or two. And Dad was going to start a new job, and in a snap, all that changed.
Will be read back chat real quick.
Okay, and that's it. Really scares me that people are like that. Uh, yeah, that's fine. It scares me that it's hard for me to put myself in that person's mind. That again, somebody literally willing to get to the point where he's been thinking about this, and he gets to the point and say, "Okay, I'm ready to jump. I'm ready to take the next step." And I can't think of that being that a terrible of a person or just a monster to begin with, and then just to be able to. It's just hard for me to fathom. I can't. And then I question why. How did he get there? Was he raised by a family that did you have things happen, or was he treated in such a way? But hey, he graduated from college and got his teacher's certificate, so that obviously he did pretty well in school. I don't know. There's just a lot of things we'll see, I guess, when we look more into it. But how is a monster like that created? And I don't know. It's just crazy. I didn't, like I say, I didn't read much into it this weekend. I had to rest. I was so far behind on my rest. I just had to literally take uh, a break and kind of regroup, just get some rest. And so, like, I got up yesterday and I read a few articles, and I have seen there were a lot more people covering it. Uh, and I think that you might see some people cover it for a while, especially if they were to maybe connect him to a second uh, an incident or something where he lived when he lived in Oklahoma. What do you guys in chat? Do you guys in chat think? What do you think the chances he did something and they'll find something in Oklahoma or any surrounding state that he's done? Because I feel like if they do that, then I think this case is going to take off and You really get some coverage on some channels and some creators in YouTube. And uh,
I think there's room for growth learning from this.
that's what I'm going to say. How are these monsters created? Where how can we as a society maybe get some kind of things that we can notice that possibly trigger these things and to happening? And because thus far, I don't think we have a clue about any of this. Other than they were, had a terrible. They hated their mother. They hated their father. Usually, they hate their mothers. Guys that do stuff like this, but we don't know that. So, but I agree with you. I think we can learn a lot from it. Uh,
I think there's definitely room for improval, considering this man worked at 5 different schools. What was it?
how many schools was it?
5 different schools over 3 years, I
See,
think.
I just when I was about Saturday, when I told you how tired I was the day you did the, I came, I guess Friday or Saturday. I was so tired I crashed. I just had heard about the one school that had let him go, and he came here and said other teachers had seen highly inappropriate behavior. I think was the term used, and they didn't even give him time to say his side of the story. He was gone. So you're saying there's 4 other additional schools that saw something the same way. But how does a guy like that? How does that not get on his jacket, his employment jacket?
Well,
That's five. That's 5 times. Surely one principal or one superintendent at school thought, uh, "Let's put this on his jacket." Well, we need to
we
as a
have to
result.
think of it like this, Will be. Sadly, these schools are so concerned with having excellent marks and having an untainted reputation,
Yeah,
or
even the
being
hint
known
of that is
right is a
scandalous.
scandal. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. But here's the thing: me as a parent, I would rather the school come forward and tell me, look, this guy was acting inappropriate. You need to talk to your kids and we need to get this. That is more honorable to me than
That's right.
actually coming forward and being transparent so that the
And
parents
having
of these students do know instead of sweeping this under the rug
Yeah,
and
and having a
patching the
daughter or
buck down
son
the
that did
road.
have something happen that you didn't find out about and buried that trauma for years and years, and in their 20s and 30s they dealt with addiction or drinking or drugs or whatever because of that. You know what I'm saying? Because it was buried and never came out. You're absolutely right.
I was I was wanting to go live yesterday and my I was already feeling a little with my sinuses and stuff.
Mine ain't
But
been
Miss
bothering me
Connie
lately. I've
called
been,
me.
yeah.
Miss Connie called me and we talked for a while. My husband, he ended up bringing me a double quarter pounder with cheese and bacon, and that took me
Uh,
out.
I
I
went to the
felt
grocery store yesterday evening. I didn't eat anything all day hardly. I said I got to go to the grocery store. I can't keep ordering food out. It's not good for you. Number one, and number two, it's just expensive. And I loaded up on groceries, so I'm good to go now.
well, we hadn't eaten out in a while. I think
I
it was
like
just
eating out, but
Christmas.
just it costs these days. It costs one person. I mean, you get Domino's pizza. You order Domino's pizza right here, it costs me $30. Don't matter how many coupons I got, how much discount. 30,
So I
35 bucks.
have a question,
Yeah,
Wilby, and maybe we can brainstorm on this together. But
yeah.
what do you think it is going to take so that this does not happen again? I mean, if the warning signs are there and this person is predatory towards children, it doesn't matter what kind of degree they have. And
No, you're right. Oklahoma
because
State. I think he graduated from Oklahoma State with a teaching certificate. Uh,
oh no, he was also licensed in Arkansas and Texas.
yeah, I mean, but what I don't get is that now you just told me about there were 5 schools and 5 incidents, or he'd been passed on. I had just heard about the one, and I thought, well, first
Up,
job,
up,
he's
up, up. We got something going on. We
oh
got something
really,
going on. Yep.
but
Go ahead, Wilby.
but
What
I was
happened?
thinking when you
Oh
said
no, no, no,
5 while
no,
ago, I
no, no.
thought,
Hold on, hold on. No.
oh,
This is him. This is him. This is
okay,
him. Everybody, here we go. Let's mute Wilby.
all right. Can you turn it up slightly?
contingency this morning from Mr. Parrish. I'm going to sign off on that and appoint the public defender's office to your case moving forward to represent you.
That's the case of the roll calls out, point two attorneys represent them for that. It's 17 days to do that.
Yes, certainly, Mr. Parrish. I'll give you his next court date when we finish this. The bond is set at no bond right now with your next court appearance for August 25th of this year at 7:45 a.m. That's going to be your arraignment at the detention center. There's been a finding made that probable cause exists in a detainee that was made by a judge previously. Anything further, Mr. Parrish, or do you wish to be heard?
Another thing that I would indicate is, depending upon which division this case falls in, it may be soon in law school. We don't know. We're aware of that, is what I'm saying.
All right, very good. Anything else?
Your Honor, we'd ask that you have the conditions if all detainer is released and no contact director and direct into the Briggs family.
I can add that today. There's nothing to add it to. There's no condition. Are you going to get the bond this day? Sure, he's not going to have contact though. If a bond is set, then a no contact provision can be part of that bond. But right now, there's no reason to do that. Anything from anyone else?
No, you don't.
All right, thank you.
That's kind of something.
Yes.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Yes.
All righty. There we have it. No bill. No bill, first appearance. Um, Apparently they're saying that the judge said that a no contact order wasn't necessary. Um, and
I felt certain he wouldn't get any bail, but
he doesn't deserve bail.
no, he should never. No, can't think of any state or any situation where you get bail after doing that.
Yeah, no. See, and the DA's already come out and said we're prosecuting this as capital.
Yeah.
Death will be the ultimate goal, and they said they're not going to
Yeah.
let him plead or anything. They said they got him dead to rights. They got his blood at the crime scene.
Witness.
Yeah.
Back to the 5 incidents at schools. So was that within one school district, or like or he'd moved from district to district? Somebody should lose their job over that. You know what I'm saying? You can't just keep passing people on where they do a little something bad, but not bad enough you want to deal with it. You just want to sweep it under. You have a due diligence, I think, responsibility to report the facts before you pass this guy on to other people's children.
Yeah.
And it was done not one time, but 4 more times after that. Somebody has to answer for that, in my opinion.
Okay.
I mean, it's not criminal, but it's certainly the kind of thing a superintendent can lose his job in a district if he allowed if he knew certain things happened and he didn't report them and they kept moving them on. Because if he did something inappropriate after the 4th time, what was he doing? It was inappropriate. So, because he did this, and you think if he can do this, what could he do at the school behind closed doors?
I'm looking for the news clip right now.
Yeah.
It was actually very inappropriate. Let me see if I can find it.
Like I say, I'm thinking one time when I took the weekend off. Now I'm finding out 5. I'm thinking 5 different times. His boss man or his boss lady saw fit that he had done something inappropriate. He got pushed on down the road to somebody else. That's a lot of chance. That's a lot of get out of or free chances to keep going. I don't know many careers you can have that you get that. That's wild.
Share some new information we've learned about a former North Texas teacher who was arrested and now accused in the murders of a couple on an Arkansas hiking trail. We know that Andrew McGann was a teacher in Louisville ISD. And tonight, Amelia McGavro has been learning more about his background.
Yeah, Nicole McGann was actually hired by 2 more districts after resigning from Louisville ISD following that investigation into inappropriate misconduct. State education leaders are even admitting tonight something might have even
Hold
fallen
on.
through the cracks long
Hold
before
on.
those.
Hold on. Did they just say investigation into inappropriate behavior? That was what she said, was it not? So you're going to tell me they did an investigation of his behavior and fired him and passed him along to other schools? Are you kidding me? Good morning, Michelle Flores. Good morning. Blessings. Are you kidding me? That's what that just said, right, Wilby? Are you there? Listen to that.
Into inappropriate misconduct.
I've had the best thoughts. I was muted.
Even
I'm
admitting
sorry.
something
But
might
go
have
ahead.
fallen through the cracks long before those murders took place.
Hold on, I need to go back a little further.
Yeah, Nicole McGann was actually hired by 2 more districts after resigning from Louisville ISD following that investigation into inappropriate misconduct. State education leaders are even admitting tonight something might have even fallen through the cracks long before those murders took place. In the years before.
That's what she said. She
Yeah.
said, what?
And they're saying the same thing I had about some people's jobs.
Mm-mm-mm.
I
That
just
is
can't get over. I
infuriating.
can't get over the
That is
nothingness.
infuriating.
That picture, he just looks blank.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what though? Looking at that, look at this, Wilby.
Yeah.
Uh, seeing his face right there. Check this out. Looks a whole lot more like that sketch now, doesn't
Uh,
it? Look at that.
well, I thought the eyes, like the distance between the
Crooked
eyes to me
mouth,
seem pretty far apart.
the crooked mouth,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
sunken cheeks,
When it's all said and done, it was a better,
the uneven
the ears is
eyes.
where they missed it a little bit to me. Had they got the ears right, they'd been spot on.
Yeah, those
They
ears.
don't have to be, but I mean, hey, that'd have to be a hard job and be very difficult to learn that craft of being a sketch artist because it's I can't imagine. That outfit looks unbelievably weird, and I,
Who would
I
wear who would wear all black,
well,
a
that
coat?
aside, but does it not almost look like more like almost a unisex? If it were the weather demanded such an that much a cover because it were cooler, it almost looks like a unisex. And not that that matters, it has any bearing, but I don't know.
No. I mean, well,
I
no,
don't know.
I
It's
don't
just,
think it
it just
necessarily
I'm
looks
looking at it from
unisex
behind, and I'm
because
not seeing exactly what he has on. I'm getting an idea, and to me, it's
I
odd.
don't think I don't think it's that as much as it is hot. Like, why would you look? If you know anything about Arkansas, okay,
Yeah, I
we
know.
have
I'll tell you a
hundred
story about it here
percent
in a second. It's going to blow
humidity.
your mind.
Listen to me, Wilby. We have
Yeah.
100% humidity. We
Okay.
did that day, if I'm
I
not
know well.
mistaken. So we already got the temperature that's like 100 plus degrees, and then
Yeah.
we have 100% humidity. So
Uh,
when we sweat, our
yeah.
sweat doesn't evaporate
I understand.
because it's
I got
100%
a story for
humidity.
you. I played a professional golf tournament in Memphis, Tennessee at Chickasaw Country Club. And it's about 1986, 7, 8, I don't know, somewhere in there. It was a state PGA thing, and I got there and I had to play practice round. I got a caddy, and they had this old black gentleman caddying from the caddy shack. He came up there. He had that bloodshot in his eyes. He looked like he wasn't drunk, but he looked like he was drank wine. One of them guys that drinks and never gets drunk, but he just always drinks a little wine. It was 108, 95% humidity. I literally, it was one of the few times I took extra shirts during a round of golf because you would perspire so much that the shirt would literally become like a soaking wet washcloth, and you change. I looked at him. He had a flannel shirt. Underneath that, he had a wool sweater. Underneath that, he had a white t-shirt. I said, "Hey, bud, you think you're going to be all right?" He said, "What? Keep the cold out. Keep the heat out. Let's go." I swear to God, he did. And the funny thing
Wow.
about that, I played at tournament. And you were talking about Arkansas. We went to the dog tracks the last night, and we went to a place. It was in West Memphis, Arkansas. And I don't mean any disrespect, but that was the most redneck bunch of people I have ever seen in one place in my life. It was West Memphis, Arkansas, the dog tracks, people betting dogs. And we got rednecks right here in North Carolina. Nothing wrong with them, but this was just a whole nother element of different than I'd ever seen. Right there at the state, I guess it's right at the state line of Memphis and
Yeah.
what happened, but hot. Oh my God, I've never seen it so hot.
You
And he
never
had
will.
he had that
Really
wool
will.
sweater. And he
When
said, "What? Keep the cold out, keep the heat out." And there is a
what?
lot of truth to that, believe it or not.
Hmm. I agree. I agree. But I think that like you don't understand, Wilby. You don't get it though, man. In Arkansas, you don't wear layers. Not
No,
like in
I do
Mississippi.
get it, but I'm just saying it's odd.
Like
Uh,
not black,
Not
especially
black.
not
I mean, well,
black.
first of all, if I have to do that, I'm not going. I'm gonna stay home before I get in 100 some degrees just to go hiking. I like to hike and get out and do stuff, but at that high temperature or whatever, in the mid 90s,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go somewhere
He
where
was
I'm gonna get.
shedding. Listen to what I'm telling you. This dude
Yeah.
was shedding DNA everywhere.
Oh yeah. Every
There's
time
no
you
way
wipe
he
the
was.
sweat off you something in your garment or you get anything, it's just peeling it off of you.
Yeah. So here's the crazy thing that boggles me now in this case. Like
Yeah.
if he pleads guilty, he's still going to face the death penalty.
Uh.
They're not
Yeah.
taking the death penalty off the table. They said they're not going to let him plead.
Yeah.
So if he pleads guilty, I think he'll still get the death penalty. I think Arkansas is riled up.
He needs to have. Generally, there's a little bargaining power there, like with Koberger. They got him to the point where they realized, what, we're probably got plenty to convict him, but this trial anything can happen during a trial. I
Oh,
don't
have
care
you
how
seen the
guilty
new?
somebody is or how innocent. Things get going a certain way, and you get a jury who's convinced of something or not convinced of something. It don't matter how guilty they are; they're just not going to
Yeah,
convict them. And so,
they've already matched his DNA to
yeah.
DNA from the
Ha-
victims and the crime scene. I
Now,
mean,
has he got anything other than a court appointed lawyer at this point?
I know that was his first appearance, and that was
So
for
he
bail
just
on the
set out on his
20th.
own. He's obviously I don't know, man. That's
He's a
just not good.
teacher, will be. He's educated enough to
Yeah, but
understand about this
he's
place.
not. He's out of his. He's emotionally got to be in some other whole place that we don't know right now. He's
I
not
think
thinking.
he's a predator.
Do you think he wanted to get caught? Possibly.
No, 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 no. And I don't think he went out there to. I think he went out there to take someone. Is what I think.
Mm.
I think that this was a likely uh, him either doing his creepy stuff and was making um, like advancements towards the
Like
girls, and that tipped
breaking
him.
through boundaries that he had fantasized about, but not yet
Yeah, yeah,
realized. Is that what you're trying to
absolutely.
say? Yeah.
Yes.
'Cause-
And I think that well no. No, 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 Will. I think he went out there to commit a crime. Don't get me
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
And I think he was ready. I think he went out there for those girls, or he went out there for a little girl. And I think that father and mother saved those children's life from anything happening to them.
Uh,
I don't know
the,
what.
the girls, what did you say? There were 7 and 9.
7 and 9. And guess
So
what grade
guess
he
what?
was
That's
going to
sixth
be
grade. Is
teaching?
6 years old. You're first grade. 7, 8, 9, second, third grade. He was dead in the age group.
Teaching
That kid.
third grade. Yes, he
Yeah, he
was.
was dead in the group. He taught, and that's weird too because now you think that's his go-to, attracted to type.
Yeah, sadly.
I
All
think
right.
so.
Let's watch a little bit more of this. Maybe we can
Yeah,
get some more from it. Okay.
yeah. I'm gonna run get some a little bit of ice. I'll be back 30 seconds, but I'll be muting as you start this.
28-year-old Andrew McGann would be arrested for the murders of Clinton and Kristen Brink in Arkansas over the weekend. McGann taught students in North Texas.
You drop off your kids every day and you're entrusting these people, and we were literally dropping our kids off to a monster.
Sierra McComb's son is a former student of McGann's and says he actually felt uncomfortable in McGann's class at Donald Elementary in Flower Mound. Her son saying McGann would single out girl students, bring them treats, and even keep them in his classroom at recess.
When he overheard Mr. McGann.
Holy moly. He was paying attention to little girls, giving them treats. Y'all, this sounds like a groomer. This sounds like grooming behavior. Wow. And they just passed him along. They just passed him along, you guys.
Tell one of the little girls, if you were older, I would love to marry you. And that was and he overheard Mr. McGann tell one of the little girls, if you were older, I would love to marry you.
Oh my goodness. This man looked at a third grade little girl and said, if you were older, I'd love to marry you. Excuse me? No, no, no. That's a 7, 8, 9 year old little girl. You don't even look at a little girl that age. And look, it's a 7 and 9 year old little girl's, you know, fantasy someday, whenever they're looking at their Barbie brides and their bride dolls and stuff like that to be, ooh, one of these days I'm gonna have a big fancy wedding, that kind of fantasizing.
Yeah,
But a grown man looking at a little girl like that saying,
yeah.
if you were a little older, I'd marry you, dude. Come on. Let me tell you what, I heard you. If I heard somebody, look, if I heard somebody say that to my daughter, you have no idea. Look, the wrath of hell would open up.
Uh,
You understand? The
yeah.
wrath of hell would open up.
Regina, I just thought of one thing. I don't know who took guardianship of those girls, whether it was an aunt, uncle, or a grandma, grandpa, whatever. But knowing that there were 5 instances this guy was passed on in school systems, they need to retain legal representation immediately for those two girls on behalf of them. They need to immediately have a good size law firm to look into going after these school districts in a civil matter. And I feel like there's no problem getting a check 7 figures plus, if not way more than that.
I don't know if I would go after the
Not that
school
that no, no,
district.
I'm not saying
Listen,
that that
Wilby.
solves
No, Wilby, let
problems.
me say something. Let me say
Yeah,
something. I don't know
yeah,
that I would go after the school district, but I would definitely go
hell yeah, I
after
would.
every one of those
I'd
individuals
go.
that
You
signed
got to
the
go after the school
paperwork to
district.
push
That
that
man,
lady on the butt.
the employee himself's not going to have anything to speak of. You go after the school
That's the
district.
butt.
They screwed up, and not necessarily just not about the money, but
Wilby.
making them
Wilby.
admit they screwed up, and they will rectify these problems. And this will not happen again.
Will be. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, though, it wasn't the entire school system. And there are other children
Uh,
that are going to take a hit to their education possibilities by the school
that's not their
district
problem.
itself
I don't mean
getting.
that ugly, but
It is.
they
It
screwed
is.
up.
Because listen, Wilby, just listen to me. But then you
Yeah.
create an environment, right, to where the school
Yeah.
has to hire a
Yep.
second rate paid teacher just like this one to come in
That
and fix shit.
shouldn't affect it at all. They should even be more driven and committed to doing the right thing, not making excuses that they can't.
I
I'm
agree
just
with you that
I'm
they
just saying
should file
them girls.
lawsuits. I do agree with that, but I
Yeah.
don't think they should school the districts as much as they are
Well,
each
the district they have
individual that
insurance
was
for stuff like it.
involved.
It ain't like everybody has to do
Wilby, let me
without for them to
finish.
do that.
Yeah, let me finish real quick.
Yeah.
The individuals that were involved in helping pass this loser down the
Yeah.
line so that he was able to continue to groom
Yeah.
other children, um, or and end up where he is now, those are the people that should be held accountable, in my
Yeah.
opinion. And that's what private lawsuits are for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, I think it would harm the district, the school district itself,
Uh,
because
they got insurance policies for
that would
stuff like
take
that.
money.
Honestly, I don't see how it could possibly affect them their ability to deliver quality education. I could be wrong. This is North Carolina I'm thinking of, but they get
Well,
blanket policies for stuff like that.
Wilby, it's different in Arkansas, though. You don't understand. These schools are smaller schools for the most part.
Yeah, y'all probably had a lot of
Well, I'm thinking of
rural
Arkansas,
schools
but
that
I mean
have a
Texas and stuff too.
smaller footprint, smaller number of students, and smaller number of teachers, I guess. But still, 5 times.
Yeah, absolutely. 5 times. Like
Basically,
policies
five
have
times
changed
comes under the
too.
state education system almost.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not sure how. Like I said, I don't know how Arkansas is
Ooh.
set up.
Ooh, no, yeah. No, see, it wasn't Arkansas that kept passing them. Like, you don't understand.
It was
Arkansas.
actually it's Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Oklahoma and Texas did this. They
Yeah.
passed him back and forth. Arkansas just got him. He was a teaching candidate. Okay, they had hired him as a teaching
Yeah.
candidate, which means he would have been under a probationary period, right?
Yeah.
But
Well, they teach for like 6 months or a year, or about a year before they can go out on their own and have a classroom by themselves. They should have like an observer, or they
You
do
know,
around here.
I'm not 100% sure, but I know someone that is a teacher in the education system, and I might
Yeah,
give her a call and see about, asking her a few questions and sharing them with you guys, um, about how the education system in Arkansas works. But the thing is, Willie, he never taught a day in Arkansas.
that's right. This was basically, I won't say it ended up being his last stop, but
Oh
after
yeah,
all the chances
Arkansas is
he had to be
definitely
thinking, I don't have any more f ups.
Arkansas is definitely his last stop will be. I can assure you that. He
I
will
just,
not
I mean,
get the opportunity again. He will not be given the opportunity again. Do you
no,
understand?
he's. I'm amazed he got five passes, but I don't know what he did. But uh,
Well, we know in one of these instances it was inappropriate behavior that was investigated.
well, he didn't contest any of them, or that we know of. So, but again, well, there's so much we don't know at this point. So I could be sticking my foot all the way down my mouth, and I don't even know
All
it.
right. Well, this has a little bit more in it, so let's go ahead and listen in.
Sure, absolutely. The more we learn, the more better off.
Yep. Yep.
And that was the day he came home and started crying.
Louisville ISD confirming they placed the first-year teacher on administrative leave in spring of 2023 to investigate concerns of classroom management, professional judgment, and student favoritism. The district says it found no evidence of inappropriate behavior, but asked McGann to resign immediately. He later went on to teach in Oklahoma and was about to start teaching in Arkansas before the murders at Devil's Den State Park.
So it really does seem like that the ball was dropped here.
Brandon Hall with the Texas.
You think? You think the ball was dropped?
The ball was fumbled 5 times, not
Yeah,
one time,
five
not
times,
once,
not
five
one
times.
time.
The
Yeah.
first guy fumbled it. He fumbled it, and the second guy fumbled it, knowing the first guy had fumbled it, because they probably
Hmm.
give him a. It wasn't on the jacket, but I would have to think one superintendent told the other superintendent, "Hey, keep an eye on this guy." Maybe it was, I just can't imagine them passing them on with not any, at least the word of mouth. You say, "Hey, I didn't put it on his jacket. He did something. It was a little thing, and we keep an eye on him. We don't think it was anything, but
Yes, it
surely
is,
somebody
C.
said that to
Watson.
somebody at the very least."
I agree with C. Watson. Showing favoritism is a fancy phrase for grooming. Yep, I agree.
Whew.
Whew, let's continue. This just keeps getting worse and worse, you guys. It makes me so mad. I'm like, I'm spitting mad. Y'all just ooh.
Yeah.
Board of Education says this case shows a gap in the system. Since McGann wasn't charged, nothing showed on his teaching record.
And so a thorough investigation needs to take place. What red flags were seen that prompted that investigation in Louisville ISD?
He says Texas has since passed laws to make it easier to report educators, but thinks more can be done to flag teachers with any allegations or history of misconduct.
But no.
Well, that's a start. That's a start. Like, I don't understand how this guy managed to be released 5 times from 5 different schools, and one of them he was literally accused of grooming. Let's get that right. He was accused of grooming, favoritism towards a little girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, they investigated and found nothing, but they fired him anyways. Come
These
on,
are
you
the
guys.
type of things you not only investigate, you either charge them criminally with them, or they didn't do them. Basically,
Mm-mm-mm.
I mean, you know,
See, we
why
cannot
was he?
afford
Why
that.
was he
No,
not turned? I don't know. It's just
we
weird.
cannot afford that. We cannot afford to take that risk with children in
Not in
our
areas where you're
education
talking
system.
about grooming, possibly. I don't know the right word. Not actually any act, but well, grooming. Grooming somebody for the possibility of the future of. I don't know. It's not. It all falls under the.
Oh, they let him resign. That's right. They
It all
told him to
falls under
resign
the SA.
immediately.
Kind of a
Wilby, let's listen. Let's listen to
jacket.
that one more again.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's listen to the last few seconds again because I think they said he was allowed to resign. Da, 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 da. Okay.
teacher on administrative leave in spring of 2023 to investigate concerns of classroom management, professional judgment, and student favoritism. The district says it found no evidence of inappropriate behavior, but asked McGann to resign immediately.
They asked him to resign immediately. Yep. Wow.
The guy didn't fight it either. So let's just
Nope.
say, they said, what was it? Favoritism. What were the other two things? I mean, all three things could have been explained away, but he didn't.
Favoritism, professional judgment, and
Yeah,
classroom management.
yeah. Which, I mean, that could cover just about anything and any kind of behavior, but he didn't choose to step up and say, hell no, you're accusing me of something I absolutely did not do, because you either did or you didn't. And if
Dude,
I
let me
didn't,
tell
I
you
would have
what.
said, hell, if I would have said,
Right.
hadn't done anything and I were him, I'd say, hell no, you can either charge me criminally or you can, we're going to solve this. I'm not having this on my
No
file.
kidding.
You know what I
No
mean? I'm not,
kidding. If you're not
because
guilty, you're going
if
to
you're not
fight
guilty,
back.
you're going to stand up and scream like hell and you say, well, we got a problem. You just don't start saying these things about me or anybody. That's the way you would be if you're innocent and you hadn't done anything. He just pled or resigned.
Yeah. Resigning is a nice way of saying we're going to
He's
fire
checking shit.
you, but
You
get the chance to.
You did what you said you did.
Resigning is a nice way of saying
And
we're
he got sent right
firing
along with
Wilby.
another class of
Wilby,
7, 8, 9-year-olds.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me finish. Resigning is asking someone to resign is a nice way of saying either you can quit or we're going to fire you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is your chance to not take a professional hit near as hard.
Yeah.
That's what a resignation is. So it's disgusting they let this continue.
And the teachers have unions too. I mean, they have like union reps a lot of states and stuff like this. I mean, I don't know if it's that way in Arkansas, but
we have teachers unions.
Yeah.
But but it's just like anything else. I mean, you can be a teacher without paying into the teachers union.
Yeah.
But you have to pay your dues, like to keep your licensing and stuff. Hold on a second. Here in Arkansas, like, man, you don't understand. They don't tolerate stuff like this. Like even in the colleges, if they find out that a professor's, having
fraternizing with graduate students.
Yep. Look what they did to the Arkansas State coach because they found out he was fraternizing college.
Yeah, that happens a lot more than people realize in football programs with assistant coaches and different things. They, as long as they're winning, a lot of stuff goes on that shouldn't go on.
Yeah, and not only that, but what about that little boy that had the bravery to come forward and went home to his mom and dad so concerned? What does that tell you when our own children see it for what it is and the adults turn the other way? That is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Like his mom knew her son enough that she went to this school and said, look, y'all got a problem, this teacher. He's grooming little kids, right?
Yeah.
Right? He's giving these little girls candy, keeping them in after class, telling little girls he'd marry them if they, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and playing favoritism, that's probably what kept him around those ones he chose to want to be around, and more than just the normal classroom hours.
Well, he was
come
a
after
predator.
class, after school, and you can after school
Wilby.
you can come and spend 30 minutes and help clean the room up. I got some things you can do. They think, oh,
Wilby.
that's the greatest thing. I'll go help the teacher.
Wilby.
Yeah.
Right. The kids think that they're helping the teacher, this, that, or the other, but he is targeting them for a reason.
Right. He's picking and choosing his favorites that he wants to be there with him for whatever nefarious or devious reasons, and that's not good. And that little boy, there are probably other kids that tried just as hard that were trying to achieve really good things in there, and they were thinking, well, I did better than that person did, and they got to go participate in the after school help the teacher program or whatever, something he made up.
Right. Okay, well, let's finish watching. We got a little
Yeah.
bit more, or listening.
And student favoritism. The district says it found no evidence of inappropriate behavior, but asked McGann to resign immediately. He later went on to teach in Oklahoma and was about to start teaching in Arkansas before the murders at Devil's Den State Park.
So it really does seem like that the ball was dropped here.
Brandon Hall with the Texas Board of Education says this case shows a gap in the system. Since McGann wasn't charged, nothing showed on his teaching record.
And so a thorough investigation needs to take place. What red flags were seen that prompted that investigation in Louisville ISD?
He says Texas has since passed laws to make it easier to report educators, but thinks more can be done to flag teachers with any allegations or history of misconduct.
But no matter what systems we have in place, our ISDs really have to do their due diligence as they're in the hiring process for teachers or any school employee to really dig into their background and make sure that our students are protected.
The Texas Education Agency is also investigating this case. No word yet on a motive by Arkansas officials.
No motive yet.
Yeah. What is that? What
No
kind of
motive
haircut
yet.
is that? Is that some kind of style they have now? I mean, honestly, you could live in a cave, and I don't think you can have worse hair than that kid's got.
Yeah, let me tell you what
I
happened.
mean, it's not stylish. It could not be any style any kid uses.
Hold on, let me open up my Discord. I'll show you what that is.
I mean, I'm not around a lot of kids that are that old, but I mean, it looks weird to me.
Okay,
Connie, what do you think?
Since she has already come out publicly, right?
Yeah.
I will share this. Let me just
Hey, like I said, we may learn a lot from this case. This might be one of those things. I want to see this haircut.
Look at this.
Oh.
His hair looks like that because this. Okay.
Oh,
Look.
let me. I'm in StreamYard. Let me pull the other.
Update. This is the girl that had him in her barber chair, her salon chair. Update. It was probably him. Oh, can y'all see that? Is it streaming?
Yeah.
Am I sharing it? Okay. No, you can't see it.
I haven't seen anything yet other than the one picture.
Look, this is why his hair is all jacked up like that. Okay. This is.
That's grown behavior.
Yeah. Yeah. It says, update. It was possibly him, y'all. I could have possibly cut the Devil Den Killer's hair. He left effed up, though. I barely started the fade.
Oh, you're saying he had it because he got a half a haircut.
Yes.
Okay, I was saying, I've never seen any kids that wear haircuts like that. That's what style is that? It's something because they come out with everything. You know that.
This is
at
what
any given time in history, we've all had haircuts that just you cannot explain, and everybody would have them. But that's what you get when.
I don't know, Wilby. I think that's going to take longer than 2 weeks to grow.
I think it needs y'all to just shave it off.
What did he go in there and ask for? Yeah, it looks like she was getting ready to just shave his whole head.
Make me look like I've been living in a cave and cutting my hair with jagged rocks, pulling my hair out every occasionally, never cutting it.
Wilby, stop.
I mean, honestly.
He does look goofy, though.
You could have no grooming utensils, no hair wash, no shampoo, no conditioner, no hair gel, no nothing. And your hair would look better than that. I promise you, I could self-cut my hair.
I think he did. I think he went in there and said, shave my head. And she got started. And
I think he said, I'm going to hang from the ceiling fan going round and round while I am. I want you to try to cut my hair. Every time I come by, I just snap a little off. It's crazy looking.
It's half a haircut. Yes, it is, Connie. It is exactly that. Half of a haircut.
Yeah.
Y'all, I'm sorry.
No wonder he looks so
needs
mad.
Made fun of. In all honesty, this dude needs made fun of. I mean, come on, dude. You targeted little girls.
Yeah. You little punk.
Pathetic.
We can't make fun of you. Come on.
Pathetic. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to be interested as we move forward. I'm going to be interested to hear what his, kids he went to high school with and he was in college with. what they see looking back that maybe bothered them or maybe didn't, or you know what I mean?
Mm,
That to me would be interesting. That's something I want to hear eventually. What?
yeah.
Because this guy had to be almost a loner, and you think about it, you think he socialized much, or would you?
He probably socialized more with little girls than
That's what
he
I'm
did
saying.
other
At
people.
school, was his socialization like playing this little "I'm going to marry you" game with the little third graders? But I mean, other people his own age and what have you. I bet he didn't socialize much. And again, I
Mm.
could be wrong, but I just
Okay, well, I got another little clip from News Nation.
yeah.
I really like Jesse Weber, so we're gonna go over that real quick if that's
All
okay
right,
with you. Yep, sound good? Are you up for it?
absolutely go.
Awesome. So we know things about that we already have evidence wise in this case. I just want to
Yeah.
share a little bit of that. So, okay.
28-year-old Andrew James McGann. His profession? Elementary school teacher. That's right. He has no criminal history, but now he is charged with 2 counts of capital murder. Police arrested him yesterday at a beauty salon, of all places, in Springdale, only about 40 minutes away from that state park. His DNA reportedly matched DNA that was left at the scene. And police say he also admitted to killing those parents on Saturday in what
I want y'all to see this. So this is him being arrested at the barber shop. Let me go back just a few moments.
with 2 counts of capital murder. Police arrested him yesterday at a beauty salon, of all places, in Springdale, only about 40 minutes away from that state park. His DNA reportedly matched DNA that was left at the scene. And police say he also admitted to killing those parents on Saturday in what appears to be a completely random act.
We have no reason to believe that there was any known association between our suspect and our victims. There's nothing to indicate that at all. It appears to be a completely random event.
And Clinton and Kristen Brink are being hailed as heroes for protecting their girls. Their 7 and 9-year-old daughters weren't harmed in this attack. And today, police share.
Wow. Do you want to watch that news press conference, Willie? Can you hear me?
Do they not look? So, I was muted. They just look so happy in every picture. That couple.
They were just a happy family.
I mean,
They were just that's the whole thing. And now you know
yeah,
what they are? They're
yeah. I mean,
destroyed.
it's just that makes it just much more sad.
Those poor little girls are never gonna uh never
They're going to
again.
forever be known for this, Regina.
Oh,
When they're our age, at church, I mean, that's the one that blah 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 happening. You know, when the kids. I mean, not as they're talking behind their backs like in a bad way, but that's gonna follow them from now on. They'll never escape this. They're sentenced to a life of being identified with this, and that's a lot to think about that. Uh, it's tough. You would hope at some point in your life you'd go away, but when you hear the people that have gone through this, it just seems to follow, the story and it always being brought up. But it's sad.
all right, let's review the press conference.
One, two, 1, 2.
Good afternoon. I'm Colonel Mike Hager, Director of the Arkansas State Police and Secretary, Department of Public Safety. Appreciate you guys coming out this afternoon. We're going to just kind of go through some bullet point information, and I'm sure it's going to spawn a lot of questions. We're going to try to answer as many of those questions as we can. I want to introduce our partners. Well, actually, I'm going to let them introduce themselves. But we do have our two deputy directors, Lieutenant Colonel Mike Kendi and Lieutenant Colonel Jason Aaron, that are with us, and I believe the rest of the people behind me will speak, and I'll let them introduce themselves. I want to start by thanking our investigators. It's hard to express the amount of time and effort and energy that goes into an investigation like this. You could see it on their face when we walked into headquarters last night, had the opportunity to see them, talk to them, thank them in person at the culmination of this. They're absolutely exhausted. They put every bit of their heart and soul into this investigation to get this suspect brought into custody and taken off the streets. And I cannot thank them enough for that. Also want to thank our law enforcement partners. We are truly blessed in Arkansas. It's not always common, and that's unfortunate, but we have a relationship with our state, local, and federal counterparts that's second to none. There was an incredible amount of cooperation and collaboration that went into this investigation. No part is less than any other's part. There's a total package that has to be looked at, has to be investigated, and these groups work together in a very impressive way. And we can't thank them enough, not just on this case, but in every case that we work within state police. To have that partnership with them is really valuable. I want to thank the public for providing images and videos from cell phones, home, and business security footage that directly advanced this investigation. We'll talk a little bit more about how that played out, but the information that was put out and the request for information back from the public directly resulted in this person being brought into custody. It allowed our investigators a starting point to move forward and to use their skills that they've developed over the years and their experience to bring this person into custody. We had about 500 tips that came in through our phone lines, social media. Not only were there a lot of tips that came in, and we're very thankful for that, but there's a lot of people that have to field those tips. And it's not all badge-wearing, gun-toting members of the state police or Department of Public Safety. We had a lot of civilian personnel that were tasked with that. There was a lot of time and energy spent on triaging those tips and making sure they went to the right people. And so we owe a great gratitude for that support staff that helped with this as well. Although everyone is innocent until proven guilty, we did confirm this morning that our suspect's DNA has been a positive match to the DNA that we suspected to belong to our suspect at the scene. During an interview with investigators, the suspect indicated that he did commit these murders. We executed a search warrant at his residence. There were articles found there that are consistent with being involved in this particular crime. And I will let Major Rhodes speak more of that or more to those details. We do believe he acted alone.
Ooh, will be. I'd say they got him.
I will say hats off to law enforcement. They all, we're quick to point out when they screw up investigations and, pretty
They got
hard
him.
on them at times, but hats off to them. They did this and, they stayed right on top of this from word go, and they got their guy.
Already got the
guy.
samples back. Oof.
I mean, this is textbook poster kind of stuff that you want to see law enforcement do. Doesn't happen like this all the time.
It doesn't, but you
got to give them.
What, Wilby, there are cases that I hold very near and dear to my heart that I 100% see so many mistakes that law enforcement made in those cases, and it disheartens me a lot of the time. So actually seeing seeing law enforcement and the community, these people that were on those trails, like so willing to help and come forward, like the work that was done with between law enforcement and the people taking tips and the people giving the tips, like they got him, Wilby,
You know,
that quick.
they just did they did their job and they did it well, and
They did it good.
they
They
did
did
so
it
well
real
that guy
good.
doesn't have any outs as far as his conviction. I mean, you don't
Yeah,
do
no,
it,
he's
but you
toast.
can't do anything better than that. In other words, the
He's
county
toast.
didn't even have to, or state didn't have to pay for some big expensive trial like Koberger was going to have happen, and they didn't spend 2 years with lawyers going back and forth. The state paid for one of them, going over that, and paying for it. They didn't have to do none of this, and it's over with.
Yeah,
So, we're not over
yeah,
with. We know what's has to happen, but pretty much over with.
yeah. It's pretty
They
much
saved a lot of money, and everybody wins.
yeah. Mm-mm. I'm. There is one thing that gets to me. This dude's obviously a coward, right?
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if he's going to take a coward's way out. You know what I mean? And I'll just leave it
Uh,
at that.
Given an opportunity, that's a good question, and it makes me wonder what maybe when they got him yesterday did. Wasn't mentioned. I know that, but maybe he had.
Yeah, they got him on watch right now. I'm sure of it. But yeah. Anyways, let's finish watching this.
All righty.
Yeah.
We have absolutely no reason to believe that there's anyone else involved, and we do not anticipate any future arrests or any other arrests beyond this suspect. I'm going to go ahead and pass off to Major Stacy Rhodes. She can walk through a little bit more of the information, and I'll return to the podium and we'll answer any questions we can.
Well, good afternoon. As he indicated, I'm Major Stacy Rhodes. I oversee the Criminal Investigation Division for the State Police. And I kind of want to walk you through how we initiated and progressed through our investigation. So, as you all know, we responded to a call for service at the state parks. Two young children were found and indicated that something had happened to their parents on the trail. That initial information that came from the kids gave us our first starting point, which was a description of a suspect. There was another witness at the park that we encountered that gave us additional information about the suspect and a particular vehicle that he was seen leaving the park.
Hey, Wilby, there's a lot of background noise, so I'm going to mute you for a few minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say mute me. I didn't realize I was singing. I was trying to pick something up on the floor.
You're fine.
You probably.
With that, we took the information, completed and let me kind of we'll start there. So from there, we had a pretty good description of our suspect. We did our initial release. Other witnesses came forward that were on the trail during the time that the murders occurred that did not see the murders, but brought forth video footage, photographs that they had taken on their day trip to the park. From that, we obtained a photo. We interviewed witnesses and were able to compile a composite sketch of what we believed our suspect looked like. With that, we received dozens and dozens of tips. With the initial vehicle information that we received, it being a black sedan, one of the initial descriptions was that it was sporty. From that, we received well over 5 or 6, maybe close to 10 videos of this particular car from homes and businesses along the routes in and out of the park. So we were able to ascertain a pretty good description of this vehicle. So with that vehicle information, that became critical in identifying our suspects. So with the photos or the tips that came in with the composite and the photo, as the Colonel said, we received over 500 tips. And initially we were using the names and information to come out to compare with, did they have black vehicles? Did they meet a certain criteria of vehicles? But as we began to hone in on the vehicle, it became clear that it was a Kia Stinger. And we used that information to vet various owners, and our suspect was identified. And with that, we sought him out and we located him at a local barber shop there in Springdale. We took him into custody. And with that, we spoke to him, and he made statements indicating that he had committed these heinous acts. And our job didn't stop there. We executed a search warrant on his house and also on the vehicle. We are still waiting a lot of testing at the crime lab. But as the Colonel said, DNA that was recovered at the initial crime scene matched his DNA that we pulled last night.
Good afternoon. My name is Brandon Carter. I'm the prosecuting attorney for Washington County, Arkansas. The first thing I want to say here today is that my thoughts are with the Brinks family. There are 3 girls who tragically lost their parents in this case. And although today is a good day for law enforcement, there's a shadow over it because of the tragedy that occurred on Saturday. I want to commend the state police for the work they did in this case. I couldn't be more proud to be an Arkansan today. I couldn't be more proud to be a resident of Northwest Arkansas right now, and I'm confident and satisfied with the work that law enforcement did in this case. Especially, I want to note the cooperation I saw between local agencies in this case. I could name them all off, but I have a list here of 7 to 9 agencies that worked hand in hand to quickly solve this crime. And I commend every law enforcement officer that worked on this case. I also commend any member of the public that provided us information that led to the solving of this crime. I want the public to know that they're safe. The defendant in this case is innocent until he's proven guilty. But I'm confident that we have the right defendant in this case and that the public need not worry going forward. Someday they're going to open Devil's Den State Park, and I'll be on the trail myself when that happens. The defendant will be spending time in Washington County Circuit Court over the course of the coming days. It is my intention to use the full weight of my office to bring this defendant to justice for the Brinks family.
Before we open for questions, just want to touch real briefly on something that gets lost in this sometimes, and that's the family story. We've spoken to the family quite a few times over the last several days, and what we heard consistently is what a loving mother and father they were, loving husband and wife that they were towards each other. They absolutely to
The defendant will be spending time in Washington County Circuit Court over the course of the coming days. It is my intention to use the full weight of my office to bring this defendant to justice for the Brinks family.
Before we open for questions, just want to touch real briefly on something that gets lost in this sometimes, and that's the family story. We've spoken to the family quite a few times over the last several days, and what we heard consistently is what a loving mother and father they were, loving husband and wife that they were towards each other. They absolutely protected those girls to their fullest extent, to the point that it cost them their lives. We're in awe of this mom and dad. We're also in awe of these girls. The information that they were able to provide to start us down this path to be able to make this arrest, it all started with those two little girls. It's incredible. We also don't want to forget that there was a third sister. Thankfully, she was not with the family on the trail that day,
no.
but she suffered just as tragic of a loss, and we need to keep that in mind. Because of that, I would.
So not 2, you guys, but 3 little girls that no longer have their parents.
So they've got an older one?
Yeah, a little bit older sister.
I
Will be.
what you know, I don't know. It's wild.
No words, huh?
Yeah, she's gonna feel some kind of guilt. You know, I wasn't there that day, and maybe I could have, which we both know is not true. But kids, kids will internalize stuff like that, and they think they could have done something. That's sad.
Yeah, we had heard it before that there was an older sister, but it hadn't been confirmed. But to hear it confirmed by the district
Yeah.
attorney, oof. All right, well, let's continue. Hard, man.
Get my mute.
Plead with you and the public to please be sensitive to the fact that there's a family that's grieving. It's hard to express because I can't understand it, what they're going through. Misinformation hurts. Speculation hurts. When they read things, when we talked to them earlier today, they expressed that to us, that they're reading things in social media.
Now hold on just a second, because this is when and where I will say something, because I know exactly what he's talking about. He's talking about people like BJ and Craig, allegedly with Brittany J and her husband Craig, who so grossly accused these parents of this being some kind of drug deal gone wrong. Okay?
Yeah, I heard about that.
That is awful.
Well,
that is awful. That is disgusting. This was a mom and dad out on the trail. And, police have iterated this from the beginning. And where was any reason for any kind of speculation that these parents were drug dealers or anything to come into play? There shouldn't have been. There was nothing that would even suggest it. And it's outrageous.
Somebody had never knew hardly anything about true crime would know from what had been said about this case that you couldn't even come up with that idea in 100 years.
There was nothing.
That was the most ridiculous claim or that I've ever heard.
This mom and dad gave their life protecting their children from a predator.
That's right.
From a predator.
Yeah, and somebody was asking whether it was one or the other person or both who said that. I said, I don't know, but either or, the person that runs the channel is responsible for what comes out of the
her boyfriend or whatever he is.
Yeah.
It's gross. That was gross.
It's
and
just
I'm
wrong.
just calling that out.
There have been cases where we might not know at this point who did what and why, who did it for why reason. And that might be something you could say in some cases, but this one here, no, come on.
No. There was nothing. There's nothing that even suggests anyone involved in this situation except for the likely killer probably does drugs.
Nothing. It was just total disrespect to the event that took place.
Clinton was going to be the milkman for Prairie Grove, you guys. The milkman.
Yeah. Do you guys know how hard milkmen work? They work long hours. if he's running around for a milk company, which I'm guessing that's what he was going to do.
The only thing he was dealing or involved in dealing was milk, literally.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
Literally.
that's
So that kind of
long,
stuff, like all
long
these
hours.
accusations against these families, this family, and all the whispers of, oh, the drug deals and this, that, or the other, they can stop now. They should have never happened, but they can stop now. I'm just putting that out there. It infuriates me. It infuriates me that these
Yeah.
people died protecting their daughter from a predator, and people are going to go around, oh, they must have been a drug deal gone wrong. No, no. Okay. Sorry, Willie. I just had to vent for a second.
No, I feel it. I feel 100% the way you feel. They've done a lot of things in cases. You know, I got triggered on the wildfire
I don't
thing,
want
and
to.
they
Yeah,
just
and I
they
don't
treat
want to go
insensitive.
on.
There's been some insensitivity from them on around the without fail just about every case they touch.
Absolutely, that's they need to leave it alone, in my opinion. But I'm just going to leave it
Well,
there because
you
I
know,
don't want to. I don't want to drag this into a whole situation like that. But he
no,
said that for a reason. He said
yeah.
that for a reason.
Well, you don't go to funerals and laugh. You know, that's just behavior's not acceptable. It's
Right.
kind of that way here. They're just saying things that are just laughable, and they're actually laughing at it.
I know. I know.
Sad.
It's disgusting. Anyways,
All right, I'm gonna mute.
so here we have proof, though. I mean, this is coming from the police themselves. This was a random attack on a family because they had daughters.
Yep.
You get to reading things that are just simply not true. And people are speculating, they're talking about things that are not factual, and it hurts. There's no place for that. Along those lines, we have to be very careful in an investigation to be calculated in the amount of information that we put out and when we put that out. I can tell you that this investigative team had one mission and one mission only, and that was to put hands on this suspect and to get him off the streets. And on a daily basis, we got together and we talked about what we felt like that we could put out to the public and what was going to be advantageous for us in the investigation and what could potentially be detrimental. One thing that we did not want to do is put information out that was going to take attention away from someone that we needed to look at. You have to remember all the information that we're working off of started with two little girls that witnessed the most horrific thing that you could ever imagine. That was the base of everything that we had. So we had to be careful about relying solely on that information. We had to collaborate that. We're also working in an environment that is half a mile into the woods. So by the time that we get the information from these little girls.
Can you please just hear me out? No, all work management platforms are the same. Monday.com.
And then we collaborate that with.
I do not have
the
premium
public.
on this account, if
They
you
can
can't
talk,
tell.
or they can, give us further information based on the suspect description and things like that. And then that leads us to a vehicle, and then that leads us somewhere else. This is not an episode of CSI. It's not going to be wrapped up in a 1 hour episode. It takes hours and hours to develop that information, corroborate that information, and know that it's good information, and know that it's something that we can put out. The last thing that we want to be responsible for is putting information out that's going to hinder the investigation or hinder someone's their likelihood of calling us and putting us onto a suspect that we need to be looking at because it didn't meet all the markers that we thought it should meet. So I hope you can be understanding of that, and I hope as we move forward from here that the speculation and a lot of the talk and a lot of the chatter, especially on social media, that people will be very sensitive to that. This family's been through enough, and they don't deserve to be victimized any further than they already are. And with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Colonel, can you elaborate more on what was the reason behind this? What was the motive for this? Was this random, or what happened there? And what was the cause of death? How were they killed?
As far as the motive is concerned, it's part of the investigation. It's two parts. The first part of the investigation is always going to be to identify and apprehend the suspect. The second part of the investigation is a lot of the whys and a lot of the details. That's still a part of the investigation. I can tell you that we have no reason to believe that there was any known association between our suspect and our victims. There's nothing to indicate that at all. It appears to be a completely random event. As far as the weapon that was used, it was a knife. Our victims died by stab wounds. Yes, ma'am.
Thanks, Colonel. We've spoken to a few parents from students who he was their teacher in different states, and they all kind of gave this synopsis of perhaps he was a predator. Their children felt like he preyed on younger age girls during his time teaching in those states. We were wondering, have you been exploring any connections to the crimes that McGann may have been connected with, and any indication that this was his first time committing this? Was he after those girls? Were those his target?
From what we know right now, we have no indication to suggest that the girls were his target.
Do you believe this was his first time, that he just went to that park that one time that day? I heard potentially somebody suspicious could have been there the weekend before. Was he just that first time at the park, or do you think he was laying out and calculating?
Honestly, that would be pure speculation on my part. Now that we have our suspect in custody, there's going to be a part of the investigation that's going to go back, and they're going to look at timelines, and they're going to look at kind of his movements leading up to that. And hopefully that will give us all a better picture of why he did this, how long he had planned this, things like that. But right now, that's all part of the investigation. It would simply be speculation on our part.
I believe he was injured as well. Can you elaborate on that? During the attacks?
Yes, he was injured. I do not know the specifics of those injuries. I do know that his injuries resulted in blood loss.
I think he had a bloody nose.
That allowed us to establish a DNA profile to begin with, and it was that DNA profile that was matched today against our suspect.
I hope Dad broke his nose.
Yeah, he had something, and that would have been, most likely something like that.
I would say you're correct. Yes, ma'am.
That might have hurt his fifis.
His nose looks crooked there. I'm just saying.
So if you'll remember the photo that was of the back of our suspect, we did find items that were consistent with what was seen in that photograph. Was the weapon there? Well, we don't know that it's the weapon, but we did collect some knives from the residence. We won't know until we test it, obviously.
The arrest itself, did he resist? Was he going? What did that look like?
No, he was completely cooperative.
Students across Arkansas receive an education that fits
Speak on the terrain, the area that the victims were found in regards to the girls getting to safety to get help.
It's a hiking trail.
That would look like for two girls. Was it a rough terrain? Was it something?
Yes, it was.
Another person found them within an hour, or can you speak on that?
So I don't know that we can speak on to the time frame, but the terrain was what you would see in a typical park. I don't know that it was particularly rugged, but it had some inclines. It was fairly maintained, but it was, our estimation was about a half a mile into the park. So you can imagine how long that would take to get out.
One more question. We had heard reports. Can you confirm that the father was stabbed first, the mother took the kids back into the car for safety, went back to help her husband, and then she died too?
So the information that we have is that the husband was attacked first. The mother did not return all the way to the car with the kids. We believe that the mother took them to safety and then returned to help her husband.
I know you all said that the suspect, I believe, indicated that he had committed these acts. Any more specifics on what he may have said since his arrest?
We're not going to comment on that at this point. It wouldn't be fair to the continuing investigation.
And then I assume this would be for maybe more the prosecuting attorney, but do you know yet if you'll pursue the death penalty in this case or what kind of consequences you might see?
This case certainly has the aggravators that exist where a jury should get to decide what the punishment for this defendant is my intention to pose that to a jury. So the state will not be waiving the death penalty in this case.
Oh, there you heard it. The state will not be waiving the death penalty.
No, I don't see any reason to. As heinous as this crime was.
Dude is toast.
Yeah, the
He's
state doesn't owe this
toast.
guy anything. I think they might decide to give it at the last minute for whatever reason.
But you know what? Really will be at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. I mean, it does because they're not going to hold other people accountable for paying for this dude's 3 hots and a cots a day because he's just a predator and a violent criminal, right? He's murdered. He's taken 2 lives. There's no amount of justice can really be given except to extinguish him from being a blight on society or a cost to society for the rest. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, just the amount of money the state saved about the trial not taking place. You know how much that trial would have taken? How much resource? Over $1 million easy.
Millions.
A 3-month trial like Koberger was supposed to have, several million.
Oh, if Brian would have done that in Arkansas, he would have gotten the death penalty. I mean, you see this, right? You see this.
Yeah.
Let me just play that for you one more again.
Yeah.
One more again.
He basically said, without question, no.
That would take to get out.
Hold on.
And on that at this point, it wouldn't be fair to the continuing investigation.
And then I assume this would be for maybe more the prosecuting attorney, but do you know yet if you'll pursue the death penalty in this case or what kind of consequences you might see?
This case certainly has the aggravators that exist where a jury should get to decide what the punishment for this defendant is my intention to pose that to a jury. So the state will not be waiving the death penalty in this case. I'm not going to comment on that.
Not playing at all. Not playing at all. The state will not be waiving.
Yeah, basically, not even a question. I mean, it's not like he basically let them know, it didn't take us long to make this decision at all.
Yeah, without a doubt, this dude, he's done, Wilby. I mean, how can you not convict him? I mean, if there's DNA evidence from him all over the victims, and they find any DNA evidence on the belongings they've gotten through search warrants from his property.
Toast. And evidently, there's when you got somebody out there in the yard and everything. I don't know. There's just not even a question. They weren't even going to think about it. They weren't going to give this guy a chance for anything but the death penalty. They have no reason to. But I was kind of surprised he confessed as quick as he did. What do you think? What do you think that come from?
He knows he's done.
Yeah.
Like, I think his intention was to go in and out of that park basically unseen. That's what I think with a passenger, a kidnapped passenger.
It takes just an evil person to get in a car, drive to a park, with a kit, thinking I might just go do something crazy today, and I just can't wrap my head around that.
Well, this is
I'll
premeditated.
never in my life will I be able to wrap my head around
Premeditated,
it.
Wilby.
What type of person does it?
He taped this license plate off so nobody could see.
I know, but I'm just saying, what kind of person gets in a car and makes decisions right after and knows that they're going to do something close to, if not that.
This guy right here.
Yeah, I just don't get it.
This guy. This loser. Right
You know,
here.
make me king for a day. We'll chop his head off by lunch tomorrow. I promise you. And the state's going to do the same thing over a period of time. But I'd save the state even more money, and we can move on to bigger and better things and more important things than worrying about people like this.
He looks so irritated. Look at this mugshot. He looks so.
Well, he got a half a haircut. He's mad. He got a half a haircut.
It doesn't seem fair that he looks irritated after what he did and those children are going through. You know.
I mean, what kind of person goes and gets a haircut? 2 days later?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what you would do that would be normal after doing something like that.
Ooh, will be.
What could you figure out? What would that be your normal? I don't know. It's crazy.
All right, let's finish the press conference.
All right, I'm gonna mute.
Me too.
Do you know yet if you'll pursue the death penalty in this case, or what kind of consequences you might see?
This case certainly has the aggravators that exist where a jury should get to decide what the punishment for this defendant is. It is my intention to pose that to a jury. So the state will not be waiving the death penalty in this case. I'm not going to comment on that.
Did he indicate he plans to plead guilty to this?
Defendant's innocent until proven guilty at arraignment. I anticipate he will plead not guilty, as is custom. I don't know that there's a defense attorney in the United States of America that would allow a defendant to appear at their first appearance and plead guilty. So it is much, much too early to visit about that.
Has he indicated he's going to seek a public defender as a private attorney or anything like that?
I'm not aware that a private attorney has been retained yet. If he can't afford a private attorney, I anticipate our local public defender's office will be appointed.
I know that y'all spoke that Devil's Den will be closed for the time being, but what about other state parks and the concerns of family and tourists?
Hungry Root is the easiest way to eat healthy. Hungry Root.
Yeah, as far as the question of the state parks being open, I would ask that you send that to Secretary Shea Lewis and his team. I'm not sure, honestly. I don't know what the decision is on that at this point. As far as the safety of our public visiting those state parks, I would say it's absolute as it can be. I mean, it's not like we have a pattern of people being assaulted or attacked in our state parks. You're probably much more likely to be assaulted getting gas at a convenience store on the way home if you look at statistics. So to echo the prosecutor's comments, I would not hesitate to go to a state park today.
I know you're still looking into it, Stacy, but have you found any more information about background? We heard last night you recently moved to the Springville area. Do you have more information you can share? And just employed by the Springville School District, what else can you tell us?
So, I don't have a whole lot. Some of that we will look into. I can just tell you that we found that he lived in Texas and also Oklahoma and had recently moved here and had taken employment as a teacher. It doesn't sound like he was ever an actual teacher in Arkansas, but that he was a teacher in other locations. Right now we're completely focused on our case here, and we haven't explored any of that background investigation. I fully expect that other jurisdictions will probably reach out to us to see if they have any, if there are cases throughout the U.S. that may be connected to him. I fully expect that.
But as of right now, he's the only suspect. He's not suspected.
Sorry, I want to hear that again. Did she say what she fully expects?
Had recently moved here and had taken employment as a teacher. It doesn't sound like he was ever an actual teacher in Arkansas, but that he was a teacher in other locations. Right now we're completely focused on our case here, and we haven't explored any of that background investigation. I fully expect that other jurisdictions will probably reach out to us to see if they have any, if there are cases throughout the U.S. that may be connected to him. I fully expect that.
But as of right now, he's the only suspect. He's not suspected in any other incidences here in our area.
That's correct. Not that we've been made aware of. That's for sure.
Recently, moved here a few weeks ago, a few months.
I believe it's been a few months. Yes, sir.
Major, can you clarify? You say you made statements indicating that he had killed them. Did he flat out confess, or what exactly did he say?
So I was not actually in the room when he was confession, so I'm not going to speak to, I certainly don't want to get that wrong, but just know that he did indicate that he had committed the murders.
Would you call it a confession, or you don't know for sure?
I would call it an admission.
Does the suspect have any sort of criminal history that you all know of?
No, he did not. Not any adult criminal history that we've been able to find, for sure.
Did he indicate why Springdale's not that far from the state park? Any indication why he, for 5 days, stayed so close to the scene, or was he planning on fleeing the area or the state at some point?
There was no indication that he was going to flee the area. He actually had a residence in Springdale, so that's why he was in the area. But he gave it doesn't sound like he was making any attempts to conceal. He didn't conceal his car or any of those things. Yes, ma'am.
Any history of mental illness?
Not that we know. We're still exploring. We just took him into custody last night, so we're still vetting a lot of the information that we don't know about him to this point.
How did police pinpoint him at the barber shop?
Good old-fashioned police work.
Was there any technology used or that aided in the investigation?
Absolutely.
Can you elaborate on that? Like, were there any license plate readers or anything that gave a tip to where he was at that time?
I'll just say this, that there's rarely a case that we work that doesn't include those types of things. So we used everything. When I say that it was all hands on deck and there was no stone left unturned, it involved all of those techniques.
Okay, now I have to really pause right here, Wilby, and chat with you a little bit about this, okay? Because check it out. You would think that he would, like, of everywhere to go, you'd think that a state park would be like, oh my goodness, they had him from the get-go. Like, wow. License plate readers, and she's like, yes,
Yeah.
that technology, you know what I'm saying?
I don't see how you can go to point A to point B anywhere in this country that's populated to any degree and not be checked into everything. Phone calls, doorbell cameras, all kind of stuff.
I would give a warning, a very, very steep warning to anyone thinking they're going to come to Arkansas and pull some shenanigans like this and try to get away with it. Because y'all, check this out. He was in the deep woods on a park trail and they had him. He committed the murders on Saturday. They had him by, what was it, Tuesday? They had him by Tuesday.
Can I ask a question, Regina?
Yeah.
Have you follow the Kent case? I know you did a thing about it. Have you read the Facebook postings since they arrested this guy for this case And I
No, I
guess my
haven't.
question is: there any talk over there in the Facebook group about this guy could be a possible? And I know that's jumping and making a huge jump, but have you read or heard anything of that type being said in that, or just
Um, there have been posts from people in Greene County with concerns, multiple
yeah,
people on Jessica Page Kemp's page, but
yeah?
nothing has been. I mean,
Well, there's no. I don't think we have any
I don't.
evidence at all, but just kind
Right.
of a speculation, and
Yeah.
that could be dangerous, and we don't like to do that a lot at all.
Yeah.
But in this case, you think, what cases could he possibly be involved in? And, maybe
Right. And not
that could
only that, but
possibly be
thinking
one
about
of
it
them. I'm
like
saying,
this
but
will be thinking about it like this will be. He hasn't been teaching since when? And I mean, who knows what he's been doing at the state parks,
yeah,
right? I mean, who knows?
yeah. I mean, it's a stretch, but
I don't think he just went out there this first day and decided he
no,
was going to do some
he's done
things.
some things that
Yeah,
not
he
good.
had to have. I
What
agree. I
what they
think he
are,
had
we
to
don't
have.
know, but that certainly could possibly be one. It's a long shot, but to say
Yeah.
the least. But you
And we're
know,
going to talk about that in depth a little bit more because I'm not finished covering Jessica Page Kemp's story.
yeah,
Um, so we're going to get into more of that. And we'll actually discuss. That is a private Facebook page, though. It is her family operates that, so I don't want to talk about
yeah,
things off the
exactly.
page.
I don't want to show anything that's disrespectful to them.
One
That's
thing
why
that
I
I
asked, had they said anything in their chat.
yeah,
I was
w-
not saying that. I was just curious
yeah,
if other people were thinking that.
one of the things I hold up most important is integrity. And whenever I have interactions with families and stuff on
Yeah, the
a
victims,
private
they've
level,
had the worst day of their life.
yeah, yeah. And there's stuff like I could tell you so much about cases, and then there's stuff that I can't talk about in cases because they're being investigated. So like some the things that I cover and I know that I can put out and cover with integrity, I will. But like I really can't talk too much on certain cases at this time. Like we're waiting for you know uh confirmation and stuff from Trip Brazil's case, waiting on more FOIA requests from Donald and Jarek's case. Troy Alexander's stroke. We got court coming up this next week.
Yeah, you got a lot. You got a
Um,
lot of stuff that's kind of breaking off.
yeah. And there is downtime, also when covering these cases, there'll be downtimes like,
Yeah,
won't have a lot to report and stuff, but I mean, these are the cases that matter to me, is why I cover them. And this one
yeah,
especially matters to me because I live in Arkansas. I've had
absolutely.
experiences in
You want
Arkansas.
everybody in Arkansas to be able to go to all the parks and to feel comfortable and safe,
Yeah.
and
I
it
go
actually
fishing
be
with
that
my
way.
kids. I go fishing with my kids. Me and my husband go take our kids camping. We go hike trails. I mean, we've literally taken a canoe out to a mountain in the
Yeah,
middle of a lake and hiked it. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
it's a way of
and
life in
that's a lot.
Arkansas.
I've done some canoeing on the Union River. That's a lot of work. Tow that canoe with another
But it's
individual.
so good, Wilby,
It's
to
yeah.
just be
Once you
able
get
to
there, it's
get it.
good, and
Oh my goodness, it's worth it. All the
yeah,
hard, like I tell you what, it's all worth it.
yeah,
It's worth it. Oh, Trixie's Creations for you said, thank you, Regina. Been listening while cleaning. Oh, I appreciate you guys being here with me. I'm just a small channel. I'm just starting out really. I've been kind of covering cases for a year. Um, but I've had my ups and down times with certain cases.
yeah.
But I just try to report the best I can. And I appreciate you guys being here and supporting me. The one thing I would ask is if you would hit the thumbs up. That helps the channel so much. And if you would, maybe subscribe, that would be so cool. I greatly appreciate it.
And
And
those
share
two, both of those
because
two, don't cost you a thing.
yeah, they're
And
absolutely
it does
free.
help the channel, and it helps
Yes,
Regina give voices to cases and to families and victims that didn't have a voice, haven't gotten their
yes,
voice in their case.
yes. So I would greatly appreciate that. But you guys, we're hitting the 2 hour mark. I want to finish up this press conference. We've only got 12 minutes left of it, it seems like. So I am going to speed it up just a little bit, and let's finish watching this, and then we'll have a short conversation afterwards, Wilby, and then we'll go ahead and end it for the day. Okay, here we go.
Technological aspects.
With the high volume of tips that came in, can you elaborate on how you sort of knew which ones to look into?
So we had a really good filtering system, and we are aware initially there were some issues with tips and the phone system that we had in place at that time. Once we implemented the tips line, we had a team around the clock filtering through those, and we had a pretty good matrix of the ones that we would push to the top and the ones that we would term a lower priority. So it's, but most of, if we got indication that it involved video, photographs, a first-hand account at the park, those were our priorities.
I understand that every case is different, but for many years investigated. Is this typical? A random crime like this, and a person goes back and gets a haircut and same car?
Nothing about this case is what I would call conventional. In my 27 years that I've been with the state police, this is probably one of the most heinous that we've had, especially the aspect of just how random it was. It's when we were talking last night in the command center that it was every agent's worst nightmare, because in a typical investigation we use what we call victimology, and you can usually kind of pinpoint something that a victim has done or the circumstances they're in, whether it's a domestic violence or just drug related. You can typically narrow down your suspect pool. We had no way to do that in this case, so it made it particularly difficult, and what makes the work by our agents so extraordinary. Yes,
Was the suspect trying to change his identity at all?
we don't have any indication that he was doing that. He was obviously getting a haircut, but you could chalk that up to school starts next week. So, but he didn't indicate he was trying to alter that I'm aware of, that he was trying to alter his identity.
And you all mentioned that he was cooperative when you got to the barber shop. Any other initial reaction from him when you all showed up? Anything you could tell us?
That's probably best that I not discuss that so early in the investigation to this point.
Can you speak on the role of social media in helping bring out the rest of the suspect?
I will say that social media did nothing to help our investigation. I would say that it absolutely hindered our investigation. As you heard the Colonel mention, the hurt and just the emotional toil that social media gave to that family. It's so easy to be that keyboard warrior and question everything that law enforcement is doing. And I would just simply say that let us do our job. If you've got a tip, give it to us. Don't spread it on social media unless you're an expert. And if you're an expert, you're probably not on social media.
One of the first details that you'll put out about the car was there was tape covering the license plate. Was that the case with his vehicle, and any reason why? Was he trying intentionally to cover up the license plate?
Yes, he did use tape to conceal some of the things that would help identify his vehicle.
Does that lead you to believe at all that he's done this before?
There are indications. I mean, everyone speculates that there was a lot of thought that went into this to conceal his identity. I will say that, but on the other side of that, he was also very sloppy. So whether he committed something else, we don't know, but we are certainly going to explore that.
How long between when you determined that he was the suspect that you were looking for and when you made the arrest? How long did that take?
Within the hour.
How long between when he began questioning until he?
Yes, we did, Connie. Yes,
I
we
don't know
did.
that, I'm sorry.
I think we're just gonna take a couple more questions. Anyone else?
Can you speak on which agencies and how many officers that were involved?
Oh, so in any agency that I missed, the colonel may have included this. I can tell you that the FBI was instrumental, the Washington County Sheriff's Office, the Fayetteville Police Department, just about every agency up there, the Benton County Sheriff's Office with their flock cameras, the Park Service, the Game and Fish. Who am I leaving out? Springdale, absolutely instrumental. They had a detective embedded with us from the very beginning, and just dozens of detectives that were all hands on deck,
FBI.
working round the clock to make sure that we made an arrest.
State police.
The community deserved that, and that's what we gave them.
And moving forward, the different agencies in supporting these kids, loss of both of their parents, if there's anything that you want to touch on.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
I said moving forward and supporting the kids after the loss of their parents, like if there's anything that you want to say on that with the different agencies that were involved.
At Arkansas Virtual Academy, we know your child is
I'm not sure if I understood the question exactly, but I can tell you that Governor Sanders has been in contact with the family multiple times. She's expressed the absolute heartbreak of the state, the support and the prayers that that family will receive, not only from her and her family, but from the state of Arkansas. In addition to that, she's made available any resource that family needs during this recovery process from state agencies, whether that be law enforcement or other type of support agencies. I can also tell you from someone myself that has spoken with the family multiple times, they're an incredibly strong family, and they have a very, very strong family support in place. I have no doubt that those three girls are going to be well taken care of, and they're going to get everything they need from that family. And they also know that if they have a need that we can assist with, we being the state of Arkansas, any type of state public entity, then we will absolutely do that.
Lastly, I know while the investigation is ongoing, you're conducting an internal review, and we'll see things being done better. We'll call transfers and information being released. Am I correct? Can you talk to me about that?
Yes, we will always, after any significant incident, we'll debrief it, and we'll look at what we did right, what we did wrong, what we could do better. I can tell you from our vantage point right now, it's hard for me to be critical of anything that our investigators did. They have, you know this, I know these guys, I know our capabilities, but you forget, honestly, until you see it play out, you see the level of expertise and skill. Cannot say enough about our investigators, and not only the skill set that they use to bring this suspect to justice, but just they put everything into it, their heart and soul. I mean, it was an impressive thing to watch, and so of what we could do better, I'm sure there'll be things. Y'all heard me say it before. Our agency is comprised of human beings, and we're always going to make mistakes, and there's going to be things that we can fine tune. But from my vantage point right now, I have nothing but gratitude and respect for our investigators and the way this was handled.
Colonel, one more question. Can you confirm when you spoke to him after the arrest that this was not, he didn't know them, he didn't know the family at all, this was just a pure accidental coincidence that he targeted them?
I can confirm that, and again, as Major Rose said, I was not present for the interview, and I've not listened to the interview yet. But I can confirm that we have absolutely no indication, no reason whatsoever to believe that there was any connection at all between our suspect and our victims.
Okay, can you elaborate on the role that the FBI and federal law enforcement helped in the investigation?
Yeah, so the first thing I can tell you is how blessed we are with their partnership. The prosecutor and the major both mentioned all the agencies that were involved. What's always nice about that is they don't wait on us to call them. As soon as this was known, as soon as it was made public, honestly, I don't know how they found out as quick as they did. My phone started ringing off the wall from our special agent in charge of FBI in Little Rock, from the sheriffs in the northwest part of Arkansas, the police chiefs in that area, HSI, you name it, just about every agency that you can think of immediately reached out to us for any support that we needed. I cannot specifically tell you what roles they played, but I can tell you that they played significant roles. There was, as the major alluded to, there's part of the investigation that is looking at this from the standpoint that it's completely random. There's another part of the investigation that has to close the loophole of, is there a connection at all between our suspects and our victims? And unfortunately, in this case, our victims had recently moved here. Their origins are from California. They, I believe, lived in North Dakota most recently. So there's a lot of geographical space and a lot of people that had to be talked to. And we leaned heavily on our, not only our state and local partners, but other state and local, and absolutely our federal partners.
I'm just curious about the communication challenges out there. I know we can't get cell service when we go out there.
Right.
I mean, how much did that affect the response, and how did that affect the investigation?
Yes. The answer to that question is yes. It was very challenging. The fact that we did not have cell service and our investigators didn't have cell service, that other campers on the trail didn't. So, again, it kind of goes back to the type of information that was coming in, the amount of information that was coming in, and the time lapse of the information that was coming in. It all factored in. To say this is an unusual crime scene, unusual crime in just about every aspect, it was extremely challenging. And all of those things came into play, from lack of cell service to the terrain itself.
One more, and then we're going to wrap up.
Yes, ma'am.
Are the kids in?
This company is going viral for its new process that gives you permanent teeth in.
Well, that was all of it. That was all of it on that news station, and that's the only one I have.
They did a heck of a job. Regina, I'm gonna jump off here. I got a little cough coming on where I've had my sinuses have been draining. I'm not sick or anything like that, but I just need to get some kind of drop or something. My sinuses are clearing up or draining, and I'm just.
Mine are too. I've had. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's just irritating more than anything.
I don't know if you can hear it,
but I'm going to do that, and I enjoyed it, and it'll be interesting going forward. What more we find out about this guy, about
and
everything.
This guy, man, that is scary. That is scary, Wilson.
Yeah, if I learn anything about how this guy ended up where he's at right now, it'll be worth it. It's the case, because I can't wrap my head around that for the life of me. How do we end up with a person like this, from as a child to this? What makes them that way?
I don't know, Wilby, but this is crazy.
I think we would know more about that as long as this has been going on with different people, repeating the same type of behavior. But it doesn't seem like we know a few things, but there's so much more we don't know. But I'm going to jump off here. I enjoyed it. Connie, everybody in chat. Enjoyed it. Everybody have a good day, and I'm sure I'll see all you guys around on YouTube. I'm going to go get a cough drop or two, so I don't have to cough all day, because it's irritating to me, and I'm sure it's irritating to you guys, and I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming up and hanging out with me.
Regina.
Wilby, it is always very interesting to hear what you think and stuff like that. So I always enjoy having you up. Thank you for being here. You guys, I'm gonna end it on this note. Just always be vigilant of your surroundings. If you're going hiking, um, one of the best things you can do is take a walking stick and some mace with you. Um, and that's not just, extending from this situation. That's extending from years of experience and knowing that stuff like this happens. Be vigilant, protect yourselves, lock your windows and doors. You got creeps like this running around out here. And remember that kindness is free and hate costs us so much. So why don't you go ahead and share a smile and save a life? Because the life you save might even just be your own. And with that said, thank you for being here, you guys. Hit that like and subscribe. Blessings and good night. Or good afternoon. Time to go get lunch.